Tonight, we will publicity renewed hope consolidation mandate. Welcome to Politics Tonight, everyone. Stay with us. I'll be right back. Thank you very much for staying with us. Almost 2 years after becoming the president of Nigeria, Bola Tinubu's renewed hope agenda is recording success one step at a time in the economy, foster peace and lay a foundation for sustainable prosperity for Nigeria. Joining me tonight to discuss the renewed hope agenda, its deliverables and achievements is Femi Odere, Director of Media and Publicity, Renewed Hope Consolidation Mandate. Good evening to you, Mr. Odere. Thank you very much for joining us on Politics Tonight.
Nice to see you again.
And welcome to the studio.
Thank you, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.
Oh, yeah.
Now let's start with the economic reform program of President Tinubu, the 8-point agenda, which, if I'm correct, focuses on reforming the economy to deliver sustained inclusive growth, strengthen national security for peace and prosperity, boost agriculture, unlock energy and national resources, and many more. We're counting down to year 2. How far has this administration gone in repositioning Nigeria?
Well, Juanke, once again, thank you for having me. You see, if we begin to talk about what His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has achieved based on his 8-point agenda that he let his country know during the campaign, I guess we're going to be sitting here and be talking about it probably for the next 8 hours, if not more. And because more so that it is pretty much in the public domain as to what has been achieved. And I'm going to come down to that later on. But what I think I want to start with is what our renewed hope consolidation mandate is all about. And I think it's important for the viewers to know that. And the renewed hope consolidation mandate is a support group that have been instituted to begin the campaign, at least in a very subtle manner, for the re-election of President Tinubu in 2027. And what makes Renew Hope Consolidation Mandate unique is that, one, we are gathering a very huge mass of intellectuals, a very huge mass of politicians from different walks of life. Most of the members of the Renew Hope Consolidation Mandate are actually former speakers of the state assemblies, former council members, politicians of high repute, and all banks of all of that. In the support group, we have about 195 professors in that group. We have close to about 900 PhD holders in that. So that makes it a very unique support group that have actually began to articulate the things that President Tinubu has done. And one of the things that we have started doing in terms of organogram of the support group is that we have the national coordinators. There is the convener, and as a matter of fact, the convener is also a member of the Imo State House of Assembly. I think in 2007, he was the former Speaker of Imo State. His name is Barrister Kelechi Nwagu, I believe his name. And in that national coordinator, we have about 25 of them. And then you come down from there, you have the zonal coordinators. About 6, you have 6 geopolitical zones as far as the zonal coordinator. And within that zonal coordinator, we have about 6 members in the zonal coordinators. And then when you come down, you have the state coordinators in the 36 states of the Federation, including the Federal Capital Territory. And within that, you have about 20 members in each of the states. And then you come down again and you look at the local government, and we have about 774 local governments, and you have about 20 of members of the Renewed Hope agenda, or the Renewed Hope Consolidation Mandate in the 774 local government and 20 members each, and then you come down to the polling unit, and then you do your ward. So that gives you a wider spread. And the campaign now is we are targeting about 10 million votes for President Tinubu when the time comes in 2027. So that just gives you an idea of what we are all about.
How well did that group? First, what makes it different from every other groups in the APC? And again, what makes it different or unique, stands out from every other groups within the APC? And how well did that group contribute to the victory of the president in the 2023 election?
Well, I said that earlier because this is the people that actually mans or that are the guards for the renewed hope consolidation are not just ordinary people. Yes. I'm sorry to say that. And I'm talking about I'm talking about former speakers of the House of House of Assemblies, former legislators, all politicians, okay, and people of high caliber, and from all across the length and breadth of this country. Right. So that makes it unique, in my own opinion, from the other support group. And besides, I think we're having a very early head start in terms of all this support group. I would say that we are the very first support group that has come out in articulating what President Tinubu has done and the reason why he should be reelected in 2027.
So the group is already working ahead of 2027?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
All right, all right. Then let's get to the crux of tonight's conversation, which is the deliverables and achievements of the president. We're counting down to year 2. And like I asked earlier, how far has this administration gone in repositioning Nigeria as a prime global investment destination?
You see, I'm just going to take a few nuggets of the president's achievements. We all know about the subsidy removal from day one. A lot of people might argue about the timeliness of it or otherwise, but there was no time except that time that he was sworn in. And then we all know about the FX harmonization. And we can also argue that those two key policies and programs, if you will, actually dovetail into so many other things. And if we leave that aside, we talk about the student loan, we talk about the local government autonomy. Recently, when I came in here, the NBS, that is the National Bureau of Statistics, just announced that the GDP has expanded by 3.85 in the last quarter of 2024. So that's one thing. And did I mention the student loan? Did I mention the livestock ministry that have been created? Did I mention the policies that have actually impacted on the development of this country? What about the coastal roads? That has never happened before. You know, what about the things that are happening at the Federal Capital Territory in terms of development? So we can begin to talk about that, and this is not the time to talk about it anyway, because like I said earlier, we are going to, if we begin to talk about this, we are going to stay here for more than 1 hour. But these are things that that we are going to begin to sell and the time is actually right now, right? And look at it, Jumoke, and I think this is I believe this is very passionate to me. I don't think anybody can argue that this is the very first time in the history of this country that we've had a president that has accomplished so much in less than 2 years. Less than 2 years, and you can dice it all you want, you can argue it anywhere, but the facts are there. And the reason why it's passionate to me is that if a president has done this much in less than 2 years of his administration, and he told you that, look, he knew what he was getting into when he asked for this job, and he has been preparing for this job for as far back as perhaps more than 40 years ago and all of that. So the saying is that if it is not broken, why trying to fix it? If this man is accomplishing so much, why do we have people who are saying that he should only spend one term. And
Nigerians, some Nigerians are saying they cannot feel the impact of these policies in their homes, in the market, where they go to the market to get food stuff. And that's the president continues to say, please be patient with me. I have what it takes to, deliver on my mandate. But of course, let's take a break, and when we come back, we'll continue this conversation. Sure. Stay with us, everyone. Right, everyone, thank you very much for staying with us. Femi Odere is my guest tonight, Director of Media and Publicity, Renewed Hope Consolidation Mandate, as we focus on Renewed Hope agenda, deliverable and achievements of the Bola Tinubu administration. Thank you so much for staying with us, Mr. Odere. So before we went on that break, I was trying to ask you, many Nigerians continue to say, yes, the president has said, please be patient with us. I have what it takes to deliver on this mandate. I have your interest at heart. But Nigerians will say,
well, that's a very significant question. You can know that about that. But I'll start by answering that question by saying that if you don't know where the rain has been beating you, you probably won't appreciate how far this administration has gone. Yes, people are suffering, and the suffering, relatively speaking, cuts across the board. It doesn't really matter how wealthy you are, you feel the impact. But then, when you look at how bad things had been as far back as 1999, if not even before then, and nobody has been able to, or even has the effrontery, the audacity to want to do something about it. I'm talking about the previous presidents now. So I don't think there is the magic out there. The president is taking in terms of the prices of things coming down. Is it the price of the price of petroleum you want to talk about? Time was when it was what 1,500, 1,100, for God's sake, in a few months back. But how much is it now? In some cases, about less than 800 naira.
I just want to say it's still expensive.
Well, it is still expensive, but relatively speaking, I believe, Jumoke, that we are just beginning to see the impact, the positive impact that this president is making. I believe that before the end of this administration, we'll probably be buying petrol for less than 500 naira. Right. I believe that. And in terms of food too, yes, some people are still saying that, the price of foods are still expensive, relatively speaking. We can agree with that. But then the thing of it is that, how bad would it have been if the president hasn't come on board? And that's the question that I want average Nigerians to begin to ask themselves. And I also can admit that some people, when they are hungry, they don't even want to talk about who's doing what and all. The fact is that they just want cheaper things. But we have to put things in perspective, and that is that things have been terribly bad before this administration came on board.
All right.
So they're just doing this heavy lifting, and the heavy lifting is beginning to yield positive impact at this present in time.
So how well do you understand the tax reform bills before the National Assembly? And considering where we were, the kinds of controversies generated as a result of the introduction of those bills, and how crucial is the passage of the bills in helping Nigeria achieve the $1 trillion economy goal set by President Bola Tinubu?
Even in terms of what the National Assembly is doing?
The tax reform bills before the National Assembly. How well do you understand the bills?
Well, the bill, in my own understanding, the bill should have been signed by now. But you see, some people are saying that there was not enough consultations, and people need to be consulted, the stakeholders need to be consulted, and and the president said, okay, fine. If you need more consultation, we are going to give you more consultations. And that actually demonstrates the fact that the president is a listening president. Yeah, it takes the consideration of the people it takes the opinion of the people into consideration. So, as far as I am concerned, the question is not if the bills are going to be signed, but when the bills are going to be signed. And I believe before the end of this year, in a few months' time, I believe this bill will be signed, because it's a fait accompli that this is another bill that will actually redirect and rejuvenate and reconstruct the financial architecture of this country in a positive way. And everybody, even the people that were against this bill before, they are now singing a different tune now. That yes, there is no doubt that this bill is the right bill for this country. And before, we all know, it's all politics. And people are just saying that, you know what, we don't want it to be any. We don't want the person to be Tinubu, anybody but Tinubu. So they put politics into the whole thing. But now they're beginning to come into the understanding that this man means well for the country, and this man has a vision, and this man has the wherewithal and the stamina and the audacity to actually take bold decision. And the key word here, Jumoke, is bold decision. When you have a leader that is taking bold decision, it doesn't matter where the ships may fall at the end of the day, because he's not even thinking about 2027. Some previous presidents weren't able to do anything because they were thinking about the next election. But this is one president that I've seen in a very long time in the history of this country that has been taking bold decisions.
So talking about bold decisions, you know, Mr. President has pledged to tackle corruption head-on, emphasizing that no Nigerian is immune to its effects. So let me ask you tonight, is this administration capable of tackling and defeating corruption?
Well, you see, Jumoke, I will look at the issue of corruption in a multiplicity of levels. If you recall what President Tinubu said a while back, I believe even before, when he was the president designate, and he said, to tackle the issue of corruption, you have to provide people with means whereby they won't have to be worrying about providing cash before they improve their standard of living, i.e. buying homes, e.g. buying cars. When you have structures in place whereby you can access loans to build your homes, whereby you can access loans or financial facilities to buy your cars, the incident of corruption would definitely reduce. It is when people do not know what tomorrow is going to be for them that they now begin to say, you know, every opportunity that I get, I'm just going to amass as much money as possible. But then that is one component. But we have the EFCC there too. But you see, in my own view, I would think that when you begin to put in place the micro components of the reduction of corruption in terms of what I just said about having the wherewithal in terms of accessing loans to build your home, to buy your cars, people will not even see the need to be engaging in some massive corruption at the end of the day. So to me, setting up the structure, setting up the template, and making sure that the laws are actually implemented when a thing like this happens is, to me, the first foundation that we should begin with.
Mr. Odere, because when you look at corruption when it comes to government spending, corruption issues when it comes to elected and appointed government officials, would you boldly say that with this administration there are initiatives that will ensure transparency and accountability in government spending?
Well, when it comes to government spending, my own limited understanding of government spending is that, see, you cannot, if you want to eat an omelette, you have to break the egg. So in other words, if we are saying that we want to grow, we want to develop, we want to be like the first world countries, and we want all our development indices to be at par with the rest of the world. In fact, we have to spend money. We have to spend resources. We cannot begin to say, you know what, we should contract but at the same time, we want to grow. It doesn't happen that way, in my own view. So the way I would look at it, Jumoke, is that government must spend. And the issue of the coastal road is an example. Is a multiple trillion naira construction facility, but you can now see what I'm trying to look for the better word. The effect, just put it that way, the effect of that spending is going to be in about 20 years from now, even 30 years from now. This is the way I say it.
Sadly, I would love to take you up on other issues, but sadly we're out of time. We had only 30 minutes for this conversation, but I'm sure we'd have this some other time. Sure. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Femi,
Director, Media and Publicity, Renewed Hope Consolidation Mandate. Thank you so much for your time on Politics Tonight. And thank you very much for watching, everyone. That marks the end of today's episode of Politics Tonight, but you can watch the repeat broadcast of this episode at midnight. Get in touch with us on our social media handles, Facebook, Instagram, and X at TVC News NG and at Olajumoke using the hashtag Politics Tonight. We're also on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I am Olajumoke Olatuji. Good night, everyone.